What's up, family? Gerald the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Check The King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to the Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.
What's up, good people? BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Folks, back on the Bossman Show with Jed Stugart here, the Lindenwood Lions out of the OVC, year 2 for them in that conference. Coach, good to see you, man. How you doing today?
Great, boss man. It's good to be on with you, man. I've been looking forward to this.
Yes, sir. Coach, let me ask you, man, has it felt like 6 years of Lindenwood going? I know you had the COVID year where you didn't was 3 or 7, but the COVID year didn't happen. So does it feel like it's been on your 6th season already, man, after all these years?
Yeah, I tell you how fast that goes. And the older I get, the faster these go. But, yeah, it just seems like – it feels like we've been here for 3 years. But, when you say it like that, it is crazy how fast the time at Lindenwood's been. We've seen a lot of changes. It's been an exciting time here. When we got here, kind of trying to get the program turned a little bit. And then, lo and behold, bam, find out a year ago we're bouncing up into FCS Division I and into the Valley Ohio Valley. It's exciting.
And Coach, do you feel like it's been 2 separate jobs and one for you with transition going on, going from D2 to FCS?
Oh, it totally does. I mean, I think, there's some similarities, football's football in college, but, when you add a transition in there, there's no doubt, we kind of, there's just enough changes that have to happen, whether it's recruiting, but there's also it goes outside of athletics too. I mean, it goes into the admission department, into the it's a school move. A lot of people have to understand that getting everybody outside of athletics to understand that this moving up is a school thing and not just an athletics thing. And luckily, we're really fortunate, blessed to have a president, Dr. Porter, that is all about this move. He's done a great job of leading us through this move and this era of moving up, and he's completely behind it, which gives us a lot of confidence. And so I'm pretty fortunate to have him and our AD Jason Coomer just all on board with this, making this move as successful as we can.
And Coach Stugart, for you, what has been like the biggest adjustment going from D2 to FCS or having your guys on campus and stuff. What's been the biggest challenge for you as that coach trying to get your staff to get up to speed on the rules of FCS versus D2 and try to get your players where all they need is support that they need as well?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I think number one, there's not a ton of differences as far as like compliance or recruiting rules. There's a few calendar changes when you move up from D2 to Division One, but it's pretty similar in a lot of ways. So that part was pretty easy to adjust to. There are a few more times where you can't talk to kids where you could in Division Two, or maybe one phone call a week where it used to not matter in D2, however many calls. So little things like that. I think the biggest adjustment, obviously, is just on the field. I mean, I think the reality is, that's been the number one question I've been asked a lot is, how do you transition a team from D2 to D1, and what are the differences that you see? And we saw it last year. We're still seeing it this year a little bit. A lot of that's just in the trenches. You look at the offense, defensive lines are different size-wise. And I think taking time, you have to find, you have to be a little patient, especially when you're moving a team. And we didn't get, sometimes in a transition, you get a complete year to when it's announced that you're going to be moving up. So usually, most of the time, people finish that year at the level they're at. Well, when we found out, a year ago from February, we found out that we were making an immediate move. So we only had February, March, April. We only had, about 5 months to really get ready for a Division One schedule last year. So we didn't have a whole lot of time from a recruiting standpoint. And so we were taking a lot of our Division Two kids, into that first season. And so, so now, we're able to recruit more and get more guys in the building on campus that are a little bit more on the Division One level as far as recruiting goes. But it takes some time. That's where you got to kind of, it's some growing pains. You got to kind of be patient through it.
And how important is it to have your strength and conditioning team to really get your guys bigger? And because a lot of it is actually that strength and size. So how important has it been with those nutritional guys to make sure that your guys are getting bigger and stronger and faster, but in the right ways?
So that's huge. I mean, it's like, number one, they spend so much time with them in the summer. I mean, Coach Hall, our strength coach, is basically the head coach of the summer. They're spending so much time in the weight room, on the field running, part of the conditioning strength. We get to spend some time with them doing some football stuff, but, it's basically him running, that summer. That obviously the winter and the spring is huge, but really the summer is really important because you're coming right into fall camp. And so, the strength and conditioning program is so vital in programs. Recruiting is the lifeblood, but your strength coach and their staff is, that's what maintains, that's what grows. That's huge, and we're blessed to have a good one in Coach Hall.
And also, Coach, it kind of brings you recruiting wise, being in St. Louis, St. Louis area, the Midwest. Now you're FCS. How has the recruiting calls been going now then at your FCS? Guys have an opportunity to play at the D1 level now, and just knowing that you're building something special out there.
Well, recruiting's hard enough as it is, but I tell you what, once people get on this campus and they see the location where, being outside of St. Louis and St. Charles here and having access to St. Louis being 30 minutes away, it's such a great area here. So I think it's a huge advantage when we get recruits to get on campus. They see our location, where we're at, see our facilities. Our stadium is beautiful. We've got a brand new locker room. We got a brand new video board. Our strength and conditioning center is enormous. And then it's just a beautiful campus. So when, it is easier to get D1 guys here, but it's also a little bit easier to get them signed because we were recruiting a lot of FCS Division I guys when we were Division II here because of the facilities and because of the location. 9 times out of 10, the reason why we lost them is because they had an opportunity to play Division I football. And so that's why sometimes we could get one or two, but then most of them would latch on to that opportunity to play at the highest level possible. And so, now it's a little different because we're able to land some of those guys because, hey, that's the next box they can check is that, hey, this is awesome, beautiful location, beautiful field facilities, and we get to check the box of playing, Division I football as well. So it's been a big help.
And Coach, I'm asking you, I know you want guys who can play and play the right way, but what's the things you look forward in a young man for tangibles and character off the field that you want to bring to your program?
So that's the first thing we look at. I think that's a cliched thing that everybody says. I've always told coaches or young coaches that ask me a lot about our philosophy in recruiting. I always tell younger coaches that are just getting into this, you'll save yourself a lot of headaches if you can be disciplined enough to say no to just a great looking film. If you got somebody that is electric on the field or they're just great at what they do, but they don't do some of the intangibles as far as in the classroom that they're not taking their academics serious, or they're not the type of leaders that they really should be. Sometimes you can get yourself in a little bit of trouble just overlooking those things just because somebody plays great on the field, because the problem is once they get here, are they going to follow those same habits? And next thing you know, you're chasing them to scoop class, you got to chase them to the weight room. And so you have to be disciplined to say no to really good film. You got to be able to say, okay, what are the other, let's start with character, work ethic. What are their high school coaches or their junior college coaches or in the transfer portal? What does their former coaches say of them as a person, as a leader? Are they trustworthy? And then, put the film on, say, hey, this is a guy that would fit great with the culture of our team. And I think, that's the success that we've had around here at Lindenwood for the last 5-6 years is, we started recruiting those type of guys. And, when you have a healthy locker room, it's pretty amazing because you just don't have the off the field issues that create a lot of headaches.
100%. And talk about this too, Coach. Being in St. Louis area, the opportunities for internships, networking, once football stops for you. We all know football will stop for us eventually. Stop for me, stop for you. So, once it stops for them, whenever it is, talk about that opportunity, getting that Lindenwood degree, getting them networking opportunities, and be able to have a job once football ends.
Well, it's amazing because there's so much. There are so many headquarters here. We have a lot of kids that are, we have a lot of kids that want to be teachers. Obviously want to get into coaching and teach, but we have a lot of guys that are in business. Want to go either entrepreneurship or business or sports management. Our sports management degree is very popular here because of access to the St. Louis Cardinals. Now with the St. Louis City team, the soccer team here, with the Battlehawks being here, and there are so many kids that have access into sports, entities for internships and things like that. And the community here, especially these sports franchises that are out of here, love to take Lindenwood players and athletes, not just football players, just athletes in general. But then you start looking into, when you look at enterprises out of here and Edward Jones and all these things, like if it's not sports that you want to get into, the internships here, and because you're in a major metropolitan area with great access to that. So that is a great benefit. That goes along with what I was talking about with the location here. And we start that process a year out, when the kids are coming into their senior year, not just their department, but our football team. We're already having conversations with our guys to be looking out ahead for what they're going to do after graduation to help build our alumni base all across the country of guys trying to help our players get hooked up with guys in any area that they want to get into, and use our alumni base as well. Because I feel like that's my obligation too, is when we recruit you here, but we want to help place you into, your next step of life in getting your occupation going. I feel like that's a big responsibility for me and for us to do that as well.
Coach, let me ask you this, for his dad, I think you said something important about the degree, because I know me personally, Coach, my degree's in business. So
yeah.
for me, the communications piece is easy because I know football and basketball backwards and forwards. But the business degree helps me off the air take care of business. Because Always
Right.
having to be the marketer, the promoter, getting syndicated, all that stuff I can do on my own because of my degree. It's about teaching your young men about that classroom piece and taking your degree, importantly, because I'm a living example of using my degree to help me in my adult life after football. So I'm stressing that to your young men in their study halls and when they have guest speakers, really stress about paying attention to their classes for that major because that's going to really help them down the road when they get like me, almost 40.
Well, think about it this way, that kind of a different angle to look at to your point is, how many times have we seen these great 30 for 30 shows on ESPN or something where the kid has a story and they always resort back to, the missed opportunities in their college program where we just had a great athlete and we're going to use them as much as we can to help us win. But when adversity hit or something, they were nowhere to be seen. And so, what a missed opportunity, when, to help these kids understand their priorities because, every kid on my football team wants to go to the league. There's a goal. A lot of them want to, but we know that, it's less than 1% of them across this entire country that make it. It's a very small percent of guys that make it. And so, that's not great odds. Out of Lindenwood, you can get a job 98% of the time, with a degree from Lindenwood. Those are much better odds. And so it's our responsibility to stress that, not just say it, but to stress it, to hold them accountable weekly if they're not doing well in a class, if they're missing class, and get on that early so they see that we as a coaching staff are emphasizing academics, not just in our words, but in our actions. And then once they get those good habits and they know our expectations, that's why we were really blessed to have the highest GPA in our conference last year. And I think that's something we'll do again this year. It's something that we really emphasize. And I was really proud of our team to acquire that honor last year with their GPAs.
And Coach, tell me about the OVC of coming to a new league, kind of going through it for the first time. Now you're merged with the Big South there. So tell me about that and how was it kind of going through the league the first time last year, seeing different styles of play in the OVC and the quality of competition?
Well, it's a great league, man. It's a historic league. I mean, you think of, one that really the oldest conferences out there, so it's kind of cool, the tradition and history of it. There's good football. I know last year we didn't get to play everybody, because of the conference realignments and schedules were already set. So, we've played almost everybody. Now we'll play Tennessee State this year. We didn't get a chance to play them last year. Looks like they're doing an incredible job, having a great season starting off. So it is kind of cool to go into different places we've never been. Half this season, we're going to go places we've never been again. So last year and this year, we're going to places for the first time. And that's our guys have kind of they've kind of thrived on, or they like that. I mean, it's like sometimes it's easier to go into a place you're familiar with, but to sit there and see, the type of offenses, defenses, there's some that are very similar where it's kind of you might see a certain kind of defense week in and week out because it's very similar. But it's pretty cool. It's a fun experience. And especially with the addition of the Big South, we're going to go to play two other new opponents we've never played before. So it kind of keeps things interesting, that's for sure.
And Coach, how proud of your team last week, pulling that game out against Western Illinois after a tough game with SEMO, but seeing you guys just bounce back and get that win, a tough 43-40 win. How proud are you of your team this past week, man?
Well, thanks for asking that, Bossman, because one of the things we really asked them coming out of SEMO was, how are you going to respond? You got punched. We didn't respond well. We didn't handle the environment down there very well. And a lot of this is being such a young team. Our quarterback last week played his first, against SEMO. Really, that was his first Division I start. He's played a little bit, but that was his first start. And, man, I can't tell you how many kids on our team that was their first start in a big boy game. And there's a little bit of wide-eyed and looking around and, man, what's going on? And then, to take a week and have them bounce back. And then even the start of this first half of this last game, it looked like it is like, here we go again. It could have a similar result. And then at halftime to see them just completely, what I noticed about halftime is just the culture of our team and the heart of our team, because number one, the offense and defense, they were almost outdoing each other with apologizing. It was almost like taking accountability. Hey, this was our fault. No, it's our fault. Hey, we got your back. And they, you could tell at halftime the way the offense defense was communicating that I just knew we were going to go out and win. They were together. They were locked in. They were taking accountability, and we just came out with a whole different kind of. And so I was really proud of how they bounced back, because that was really going to be the test. Is how do you bounce back from a loss like that, and then have adversity in the first half and come back? I mean, you can build on heart, because you can fix mistakes and things like that. But if a team doesn't have heart, that's pretty hard to get done in one season. And so I know our guys showed they had a lot of heart last week.
It's beautiful to hear, because I feel like, in that locker room at halftime, sometimes you can go just blame everywhere, blame these girls.
Absolutely.
But to hear that is, unfortunately, I had a lot of that in my career.
You're right. I'm telling you.
But to hear that they really take accountability, and just that right there, you have a team, because that's inspiring. Because okay, we're gonna go ahead and play well. We both know we're not playing the right way. Let's go out here and correct it right now and get this job done. And to pull out a game like that is something I think springboard these young kids into a great season, and give them like, we've been here before. We can do this, and it'll be all right.
Yeah, I think every question I've gotten of let me shut this call off here. We get a lot of text messages of people saying, man, you must have given them some sort of a halftime speech. And I was kind of laughing, because it wasn't really that impressive of a speech at halftime. But when I saw the quarterback, when Cole Duggar comes in and tells the defense, man, I threw a pick. I threw a pick and put you guys in a tough spot. That's on me. I'm gonna make it up to you. I mean, you could just see the defense be like, man, I've got your back too, man. You took accountability and said, I'm gonna make it up to you. And of course, that just triggered the defense saying, well, we're gonna get the ball back for you. And it was just, like I said, it just kind of steamrolled from there. It was pretty cool.
And Coach, what are you seeing for Illinois State on the film as you all get ready to play them this week at noon, man?
I'm telling you, man, this is a good football team. They've got a really good defensive line. It's very active. They get to the quarterback. They move well, and their whole defense, I think, is the thing that stuck off the page to me right away. And they do really good things offensively. But I think, watching their defensive line, that's kind of where I tend to start. When I'm, because I'm a defensive guy in my career, so I've always been on the defensive side. So I go look at defenses. And they do a really nice job. I know they're going to be extremely ticked off. They lost a tough one last week to Eastern Illinois, so they're going to be at home and want to avenge that loss. And they're going to look at us as in the way. So our kids are going to have to understand that and be ready to match that, because it's a historic program that's done well, and they play in a really tough conference. The Missouri Valley Conference is really tough football league, and so. We got to be ready to go. It's going to be a little bit more like a SEMO type team. And this is a good opportunity for our guys to kind of avenge a SEMO loss we didn't like by taking on a team that's pretty similar.
Coach, let me ask you, Coach Stugart, when did you decide you want to get into coaching and make this your life's journey and your life's path helping young men?
Well, I tell you, it was kind of really by the grace of God, man. I didn't have a desire to coach. I played college football at Azusa, but a lot of people know this and some people don't. I actually had a career of wanting to get into the country music industry and moved to Nashville and was doing all that stuff after I got done playing. But my love for football kind of brought me back when I kind of took a break from music and helped at a high school with a friend of mine. And then that next year, Northern Colorado, the head coach there asked me to kind of come volunteer if I wanted to help coach. And I went, and then the coaching bug kind of bit me, and before I know it, the music doors shut and the football doors opened. And, 3 years later, I was a defensive coordinator and full-fledged into this deal. So, I've never looked back, and I thank God daily that he brought me into this occupation, because I don't feel like I go to work every day. I go to something I love to do. So it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
100%, Coach. And let me ask you, going to school in Nashville, and you was there for country music, it has changed so much there, man. When I go there, man, it's like the whole new town, man.
I'm with you, man. We were just there for our OVC meetings, and we'll go there every couple of years. see that city blowing up and growing and the traffic everywhere. I mean, it is a lot different than when I lived there as well.
It's same with Austin P and Clarksville. I was like, this is different.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I remember the old OVC was Austin P and MTSU and Western Kentucky. I remember the old OVC. Like all these towns are growing.
Well,
I'm like, it's amazing.
yeah, I had a chance to, I was the other guy when they hired Will Healy down there. I was actually the other guy that they were talking to, and so there was a chance that I was going to end up back there in Austin P back, and I think it was in 16 or 15, 16 around that time and so it didn't work out. It was good timing for me that God closed those doors. But so I almost entered the OVC a few years ago, but now I'm in it and love it.
Yes, it always comes full circle for us, don't it? But God has
sure
a way of making it come full circle for us always. It's
Amen.
funny.
Amen. That's right. So,
well, Coach, it's great to talk to you today, Coach. Man, I look forward to seeing you on the road here real soon, and get your number offline as well because, like I told Coach Kyle, man, I do travel around the OVC, and I try to make sure I hit every stop I can around the conference. When my schedule allows me to do so.
Well, we'd love to have you as our guest up here at Lindenwood, Bossman. Really appreciate being on with you, and yeah, we'd love to have you and host you up here as our guest sometime. We'd love to have you.
Sounds good, Coach. I'm getting your number offline, man. It was really fun, man.
Sounds good.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z. Sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
What's up, good people? BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online where the game starts. What's up, family? Jared the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Let the King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to The Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.